Welcome back. The Dome District Farmers Market takes place in front of Freight House Square and right next to the Tacoma Dome Station parking garage on Tuesday afternoons between 3 and 7 p.m.
It's put on by the Tacoma Farmers Market, which also organizes the Thursday Market taking place on Broadway between South 9th and 11th Street.
The Dome District Market is at the Transportation Hub. It's right next to the Sounder train and the Link Light Rail and close to bus stops. You can get here very easily and you don't have to worry about finding a place to park.
Now, while we're talking about transportation, more than 200,000 vehicles pass through Tacoma on Interstate 5 each day. And with that much traffic, residents and businesses along the interstate are exposed to continuous highway noise 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The state's Department of Transportation is addressing this noise pollution using a system of concrete panels. You may have noticed these panels going up, but as we're about to find out, there's a science to making these sound barriers.
We live in a world of sound that keeps getting louder and louder and louder all the time. To cut back on noise pollution, we can simply turn things off, or we can build sound silencing barriers. On Tacoma's stretch of I-5, roughly 200,000 cars and trucks speed through on an average day. If you live or work along I-5, you probably find the traffic noise a bit annoying. Here's the reason why. Sound is measured in decibels, dB. For every 10 dB change, sound intensity doubles or halves depending on which way you go. The ambient noise in a library is about 40 dB. A household vacuum cleaner around 75 dB. And jets create an ear-splitting 150 decibels, enough to rupture your eardrum. Highway noise ranges in the mid-70 dB range, about the same annoying level as that vacuum cleaner. Highway engineers use structures called sound barriers to cut down on road noise. These barriers are made from materials ranging from earth to concrete and cut noise levels by as much as 50%.
Currently, we're slightly below the top of this sound barrier with the freeway on the opposite side here. I think if we take a step up here, we're going to see a noticeable difference in the noise and probably making it more difficult to understand me. And you can imagine what this would be like inside the classroom if we were trying to overcome the freeway noise and also carry on instruction.
Jadrona Middle School in Tacoma is right next to I-5. Designers built the school to counter highway noise.
At Jadrona, because of its location immediately next to the freeway, we've built a sound barrier or a barrier that I think you're used to seeing along the freeway walls between residential areas. The building itself obviously is constructed with noise abatement, if you will, or attenuation in mind.
Currently, I-5 north of the school to Tacoma's I-705 is undergoing major modifications. Known as the I-5 South 48th Street to Pacific Avenue project, sound abatement plays a major role in this construction.
Frequently, road noise along the interstate highway can approach 80 decibels and can adversely impact residents immediately adjacent to our facility. Noise impacts are evaluated on basically a line of sight type basis. So the noise we're experiencing right here is actually primarily off the southbound lanes because we've got a clear line from the sound generator being the cars to our ears.
According to the Washington State Department of Transportation, sound barrier construction costs about $53 per square foot. Tacoma's sound barriers and retaining walls play another role other than noise abatement. Turns out the walls along the project are more than functional construction. They're works of concrete art for the public.
I think that whoever the designer is has done a very, very good job.
Well, I think they're very attractive. Tacoma needed some highlighted, and the sound barriers, I think they do very good for that particular area.
Well, it's a lot better than just looking at plain old concrete. At least they're trying to make it attractive in the fact that we have to have it there.
Oh, they look beautiful so far. As long as there's no graffiti on them, they look great.
I think in some cases the contractor got a little lazy and used the same pattern over and over.
On this project, the City of Tacoma actually contracted with an artist to come up with an original architectural treatment for our walls, and she came up with a rope pattern that's what drivers are seeing along the roadway here.
They told us some very specific parameters that we had to follow. For example, we could not have specific images because they didn't want anybody slowing down to try to see an image. That's why the pattern is very abstract.
The price tag for Tacoma's I-5 art was folded into the entire improvement project, significantly reducing the city's costs.
What we paid for were all the design costs, so about $70,000 went into master planning, designing the pieces, and then mapping out every single 4x4 square to get the patterns that you see now.
Coordination between the city and the artist targeted a design unique to Tacoma.
I like a pattern that doesn't tell you everything about itself in a single glance. And so depending on where you see it and your angle in the sun, you're going to get a different cropping of the imagery.
At first glance, you may think construction workers mixed up the panels, but that's not the case.
We've had a few comments that it looks like the pattern's disjointed and maybe we might have done it wrong, but actually the artist intended it to be that way.
The rope patterns, there's a reference back to the Foss waterways, to all the port activity, waterway activity. The molding is a reference to the forests that were harvested in order to create the domestic housing core that's here initially.
You'll see sound barriers at 3 I-5 locations: Jenny Reed Elementary School, I-5 North from 38th Street to 48th Street, and at the Holy Rosary Church.
But right now it's 150,000 square feet of decorative walls, and so I think we have the national record as far as I know so far, so that's kind of cool.
For more information on highway traffic noise abatement issues, log on to the Washington State Department of Transportation website. Now, across the top of the page, you'll find several tabs. Click on Environment, which will have a wide variety of topics on traffic noise.
You may think that a lot of people travel through Tacoma now, but just wait until July of 2008. That's when the Tall Ships Festival hits our area. People are expected to come from all over the United States to see some of the world's most colorful sailing vessels.
Now, planning for that event is already underway, and as we see in our next story, volunteers are once again going to play a major role.